How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Mud. Today we have Matthew Shamaluski.
What's going on?
Last weekend he participated at Louisville Regional, piloting Gholdengo EX, aka Cheese Boy, placing 55th over 1,500 players. You went 6-2 during day one, right, Matt?
Yes.
And then following that performance, you went ahead and won 3 and lost 1 during day 2, coming in 55th place with a record of 9-3. Let's go ahead and get started.
Cool. So to start off, we have 4 Gholdengo, 70 HP, optimal. You gotta set these guys up because the Gholdengo, which we have 4, this is the main draw support of the deck. You want to set up as many turn 1. Then we have the 1/1 Palkia line. This is another nice alternate attacker, but it can also be used to power up the Greninja with the Palkia GX attack. Radiant Greninja is for draw, Pheasantipity also for draw, and Manaphy to protect the Gholdengo before they evolve into the Cheese Boys. So setup's super important in this deck, so because of that we have 4 Buddy Poffin to help with that. 4 Nest Ball. We don't need these cards, like all 4 of them throughout the game, but it's really to help set up, because if this deck doesn't get set up, it's going to be a really rough, scrappy game. 4 Superior Energy Retrievals. These are paramount in the Gholdengo Make It Rain attack. What it says is it does 50 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon for every energy that goes from your hand into the discard pile. So you're really going to want to, I'll explain some more strategy later on. To help search that energy, we have 3 Earthen Vessels, and to help with Pokemon retrieval and energy retrieval, we have 3 copies of Night Stretcher. To help thin that deck and get through the deck, we have 3 copies of the Pokestop, also super helpful in bumping those Area 0 decks that rely so heavily on that stadium. To assist on the setup and to help search the Greninja and Palkia Manaphy, we have 4 copies of Irida. And to help with gusting, you really want to go 2/2/2 in this deck, we have 2 Boss's Orders. And then we're playing 1 Silene, 1 Professor Turo, and 1 Iono for hand description. Silene is super helpful in a lot of matchups. If you're playing against a really big deck like Charizard, you might need to get back your Superior Energy Retrievals. If you're playing against Stall, you're going to want to get back some of the other item cards like Palpad that we're about to go through. So we're going to finish off with the 1-ofs in the deck. We have 1 Switch to help with Pivot, 1 Counter Catcher to help with Gust, 1 Palpad to shuffle maybe supporters that you've already used or supporters you've milled with Pokestop back into the deck, a Canceling Cologne to help with if you want to Greninja snipe and they have a Manaphy, you can Boss Cologne is a nice combo, or Counter Catcher Cologne so you can get that Greninja attack off. This is great for Snorlax. Great cards for the deck. A Heavy Ball to kind of help to help with that setup if you have a Gholdengo prize, if you have a Greninja prize, Manaphy prize, and then the Hyper Aroma. This is the paramount card. It allows you to search 3 stage 1s from your deck. You can get 3 Gholdengos. You cannot get a Palkia, by the way, if you're curious. And that really helps with the setup. You have 3 Gholdengo on the bench. You play the Hyper Aroma, bang, bang, bang. You got 3 Gholdengos ready to go, and then you're drawn, thinning your deck. In the energy lineup, I have 4 Metal, and then I have 7 Water. So I want to talk about the strategy a little bit of this deck and how I play it. A lot of people are playing Cypher Maniacs code breaking because you get to choose 2 cards and then you draw it with that coin bonus ability. Here's why I opt to not play it. the strategy of the way I play my deck is thin, thin, thin. So you're playing cards like Earthen Vessel, you're playing cards like Nest Ball, Poffin, Hyper Aroma to thin all of the gibberish out of your deck. You're using Pokestop to mill cards. You're getting energy in the discard pile and in your hand. So when you do use the coin bonus ability, you're statistically drawing into what you need. You get to draw cards like Counter Catcher, Boss, Turo, Iono, whatever you may need. Here's the last thing. A lot of people are using Iono and they say we don't want Iono because it shuffles our hand back into our deck. The reason we play Iono is it's a great combo when you're attacking with Palkia. You can, if you're down on prizes, you can Counter Catcher, Iono, and swing with Palkia, and you don't need to worry about energy in your hand and set your opponent back to a small hand while taking a big knockout. If you have any questions, feel free to message, and I'd love to talk Gholdengo with you.
All right, thanks, Matt, for that. I do have a couple questions. Can you give me a rundown of what you saw at the regional and how you fared against some of the top decks? Dragapult, which is the one I'm running right now, so that's the one I mentioned first. Raging Bolt. Did you see any Regidrago, any Lugia? Which matchups gave you the hardest, bang for your buck, and which ones were the easiest?
So I did see a Snorlax. So on my winning into day 2, I was 5-2, and I hit a Blocklax. That's a tough matchup for me. But I won. And the way I won is when they gust cards up, using cards like Professor Turo, using cards like Switch, using cards like Cancel and Cologne to shut off the Snorlax, using cards like Boss to kill that Rotom early, using cards like Iono to disrupt their hand. Palpad also super important because then you can get Silene back in the deck, and then you can Silene for a Palpad so you can get the Turo back. I actually hit 8 Raging Bolts. Although it was only 15% of the meta share, I hit 6 in day 1 and 2 in day 2. And all of my I was 3-3 in total against Raging Bolt. If I'm being honest, I don't want to be the Pokemon player that's complaining, but I did get unlucky. I was starting Palkia and Fez, which are the only cards I can't start in that matchup if I want to win. I wouldn't say it's a tough matchup. I'd say Blocklox is harder, and I beat Blocklox, and I was 3-3 against Raging Bolt. I hit Miraidon. Easy matchup. They're only swinging for 220, and even with Raikou, you just need bench control. I hit 2 Palkia Duskanoirs. That's a tough matchup because they can wipe my board, but I had enough Gimme Ghoul set up to, wither the storm, and I actually beat Ian Robb in round 11. Charizard was really easy, and I actually played another Mirror Match Gholdengo, and he didn't play this variant, and unfortunately, he was, fortunately for me, I was able to beat him. I'm surprised I didn't see Lugia. I'm surprised I didn't see Drago. I'm surprised I didn't see Dragapult. Dragapult's my best matchup. Dragapult is my best matchup because they do 260. All I need to do is find a Professor Turo scenario and promote an undamaged Gimme Ghoul. It is a free as they come matchup, and then you Palpad that Turo back in. Terapagos also super easy. They can't KO me without Duskanoir, and then once they pop a Duskanoir and I kill a Terapagos, they're already at 3. I'm already at 3 prizes, and then I just need to kill 1 more, and they can't even pop their second Duskanoir. I somehow dodged my 2 best matchups, but I was able to go day 2 and get a top 64 locked in.
All right, thanks. I don't appreciate you saying that Dragapult is one of your best matchups, so I think we should play a game, and based on the results, we'll see if my new additions that I spoke about in my other deck profile when I profiled my deck is going to sway the match in my favor. But all right, guys, thanks for joining us. I am happy to do these deck profiles. Just go ahead and leave a comment and a like. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.